Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my pleasure to let you spend a few minutes with the real heroes of the religious liberty movement. I promise you guys, this will be worth it, trust me. I'd like to invite you now to spend a few minutes with the real heroes of the religious liberty movement, our clients. When we meet our clients, they are often going through some of the most difficult circumstances of their lives. They face enormous pressure to give in and give up. They feel like they have no way to defend themselves and no voice. I know I speak for the entire Becket team when I tell you that it is one of the great honors of our professional lives that we get to stand with our brave clients and help give them a voice and give them the tools to take something that starts as a dark chapter in their lives and turn it into something positive. Take a look.
The fines that we were faced with would have forced us to close our doors and end our ministry in the United States.
We wanted a shot at the state finals without having to play on the Sabbath.
Our student leaders were targeted for their religious beliefs. To be mocked, ridiculed, falsely accused, that'll test your faith.
If we didn't succeed, I don't know that our church would have survived.
They went in and they cut down the beautiful green trees. It's a part of the sacredness of that area. They took everything, the grass and the brush and the plants.
They question everything about us, our existing within this city, the authenticity of our religion, our way of life. They said, "You are not welcome."
I was young, I was shy, I was a little scared, but I was raised to stand up for what I believe in, to stand firm in what I believe to be true.
I really felt like this case was something that I needed to do, that somebody needs to step up and say, we've got to treat churches and ministers fairly under the law.
The Lord has placed upon my heart for my whole life that I should always, always fight for life.
I made a promise to myself, promise that I would fight back someday, promise that I would go back to my roots, and that's what inspired me to seek help in challenging the Army's uniform ban.
It was more than playing basketball. We wanted our children to understand the importance of standing up for what they believe.
I received an email from the Becket Fund. Basically, the email said, hey, we read about your case and we want to help you. That meant a lot to me because I had just prayed and told God. I said, you gotta send me help. And I think I saw that email the next day.
I believe strongly that the Constitution is on our side, but we need someone to represent us in a court. It was obvious that we need a lawyer, and it was equally obvious that we cannot afford a lawyer.
But the Becket group calmed this old lady's nerves. This was harder than going through COVID.
It wasn't until we were introduced to Becket that they were able to chart out for us a manner in which we could have our voices heard.
They came and they saved us. They've done something that nobody else would do. They're our heroes.
We chose Becket because Becket is so passionate about recognizing that religious liberty is for everyone, and because they win their cases.
We won our case and it was unanimous.
To God be the glory. We won.
We did not only won our case, the Constitution won.
After decades, the Army finally allowed Sikhs to serve with their articles of faith.
I think it was the most exciting moment of my life because there were several hundred people rooting for us, and I just realized that we were like all together as one body for the same cause.
One of the many great things that came out of this is you had a brief being filed on behalf of Muslim groups in support of our group, written by a professor at Notre Dame.
The Lord said we wouldn't be alone. He said we don't have to be afraid. And working with Becket has instilled that so strongly in my heart that I'm not alone and I don't need to be afraid.
Thank you, Becket, for protecting and advancing religious liberty for everyone.
Thank you, Becket, for making us feel that we belong.
And making sure that those of us who care about these issues always have an advocate who can take these cases and step into the court and win.
Thank you, Becket, for giving me a voice.
And I have one extra detail to add to that. That brief that Mahdi Fox mentioned when he said there was a brief for Muslims on behalf of Orthodox Jews, I think that brief was written by Professor Stephanie Barkley, who's here someplace. So that was a brief written by a Latter-day Saint working for a Catholic law school, representing Muslims, defending Jews. God bless America.